time you've seen this. So there are four areas of unhealthy uh, parts in relationships, okay? And I've broken it down into four key components, okay? The first area is communication. The second area is emotional manipulation. The fourth area is controlling behavior. And the last area is the lack of support and empathy, okay? And this is what we're going to work on, okay? So when it comes to communicating is very important in relationships, okay? So where have you in your relationships needed to kind of improve or tweak your communication skills? Okay. So notice how people communicate to you. Notice how people don't communicate. That's also a problem. Okay. Um, Not sharing feelings openly. I might be physically, I might physically appear to be unwell. Um, And my partner may notice that or pick up on that, and vice versa. And I might ask my partner, or my partner might ask me what's wrong, because they visibly can see that something's wrong. Um, and I'm like, nothing, nothing, nothing. I'm okay, nothing. So my energy doesn't match my words. That creates confusion and conflict. Okay. So that's an unhealthy pattern. So a healthier pattern would be to the minute they ask you what's wrong, you openly share, well, when you did this, I felt like this, and I'm wondering if that's your intention or did I misinterpret it? That's a healthier way of communicating that, okay? Instead of giving the other person the silent treatment, or worse, changing my behavior or removing my attention um, from my partner to make them understand, to make them see, or worse, some people are, to punish them because I have already created a narrative in my head that they're deliberately trying to hurt me. Okay. So I want to create open communication and safe communication. Okay. So talking about what's wrong immediately, not putting it off, not avoiding it, not reacting in anger. Okay, so what is your communication style? What do you tend to usually do? Are you the type of person that shoves it under the carpet? Not the type of person, that may sound like a judgment. Is your pattern is your go-to communication style to not talk? Is your go-to communication style to go from 0 to 100 and make evaluate and make up scenarios in your head without asking? What's your go-to communication style? Okay. How can you change that and improve that? What's your body language? What's their body language? Okay. Emotional manipulation. Emotional manipulation is, again, changing my behavior in order to get the other person to do something or to feel something. Okay, I might love bomb in the beginning, or my potential part suitors might love bomb in the beginning to get me to what? To become emotionally attached, only so they can control me and withdraw my attention. Okay. How does emotional manipulation, how has it shown up for you in your partners in the past? How do you show up with your partners in the past? Controlling behavior. Controlling behavior, how has that shown up? Do you also try and control the other person's behavior by being hypervigilant or people pleasing? Too much people pleasing is focusing on the other person's behavior and trying to please them so they can love me, so I can get them to stay, so I can keep the peace, so I don't have to rock the boat. It's also controlling. Okay, so I can get them what? To stay and not leave me. Where does my people pleasing tendencies come from? Where do they stem from? That's also a form of control. How have my partners been controlling towards me? Lack of support and empathy. Am I supportive to my partner? Have I been empathetic to my partner? Have I been too supporting to my partner without it being reciprocal? I need to check that. What type of partners have I been with and chosen in the past? Do they lack empathy? Do they lack support? And if you're a supportive person and you're a people-pleasing person, that's fine. Is it reciprocal though? Are you giving more than you're getting? Pay attention to that. So let's dive into this. So let's do a little bit of self-reflecting. Okay. Now, I want you to answer the following questions. What communication skills do you require? Where do you struggle? Okay. Like I said, what is your pattern? Okay. Do you tend to stay silent and expect the other person to know? Do you withdraw your attention in order to get the other person to notice you more? And when they don't notice and don't do anything, do you get even more frustrated? What is your communication style? And this requires honesty with yourself. There's a workbook here. List the things that you want to list, okay? Number 2, how have you felt emotionally manipulated in the past? What have your partners done? In what ways do you think that you may have been emotionally manipulating? Okay. Have you tried to make your partner see something that you haven't communicated? Do you have tendency to have belief systems like if they loved me, they would? If they loved me, they'd already know. I wouldn't have to communicate it. That's manipulative. Do you say things like, if you don't change, I'm going to leave? Do you guilt trip? Notice what type of behaviors you have. How have others' attempts to control you affected you? How has it affected you? Journal it, write it down in the workbooks here. Okay. Number 4, how much support do you have around you? This is really important. Who is your go-to person? How can you get more support? What are the types of people that you want to give your time and attention to? What types of qualities do they have? What types of attributes do they have? List them. Make that clear. Okay. List them here in the workbook. Okay. And here I have for you some more red flags behaviors to spot and look out for. Okay. You can read those on your own time. I don't have to go through all this because I don't want to tire you. Okay. I may have shared this in the last videos, but these are for your benefit. So you can come back and check these, okay? And if you forget, you can come back and watch these. You get to keep this forever, okay? More warning signs. And this I do want to go over and I want to stipulate because this is really important. Remember, if they don't acknowledge their feelings, they will feel uncomfortable when you acknowledge and share yours. If they don't pay attention to their own feelings and don't verbalize their feelings, meaning if they don't have emotional intelligence, if they lack emotional intelligence, they will not be able to understand your feelings and your process. That is really important. Okay, so when you're first meeting someone, or you may be in a relationship, notice how they feel when you share your feelings. Notice how they behave. Okay? If they hide aspects of themselves, if they're not upfront about parts of themselves, they will hide things from you. okay? If they hide things from you, that's a warning sign. If they don't face and resolve their own problems in their life, they will not be able to support you with your problems. Okay. So beware of people that are always problematic, are always having problems, and find it difficult to resolve them. Okay. If he doesn't love himself, if they don't love themselves, and though they're not taking active action to take care of themselves, they won't be able to take care of you and fully love you. Okay. And lastly, if they don't choose to step up to the version of themselves that is required to love you and be with you, let them go. They are not your person. A successful, long-lasting, fulfilling relationships takes two people who are able and willing to work on the relationship. If you're not with a person like that, they're not your person. It needs to be reciprocal, and it needs to be both people working hard. Not one, but both people. It takes two to tango. And here are 10 tips for recognizing red flags. Okay. The first one, learn to trust your gut. Learn to trust that feeling. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't ignore it. How many times have I ignored that gut feeling? I may have gone on a date with a person, and it's like this, they might say something or do something or make a comment about a person or a guy, and I just ignore it, and I just like sweep it under the rug, only for it to be this huge problem in the future. What you ignore in the beginning become problems down the line. Pay attention to their actions, not just their words. Their actions are more important in their words, and actions must align, must match their words. Consider how they treat others. Pay attention when you go on a dinner date. How do they talk to waiters? How do they talk about their friends? How do they talk about their family? How do they talk about their exes? The way they talk about their past relationships is an indication of how they value relationships and how they will value you. It is also a good indicator of how they may treat you in the long run. History is a huge sign. Look for inconsistencies. Does their behavior change? How does their behavior change? Don't make excuses for their bad behavior. Don't rationalize their bad behavior, and don't explain it away. Don't paint red flags green by rationalizing it. Trust your judgment. You deserve a relationship that's good for you and that's healthy for you. Additional tips: communicate openly and honestly. Don't be afraid to talk about your concerns. Don't be afraid to talk about your feelings. Learn to take things slow. Don't rush in to relationships. Those who rush in and want exciting, euphoric feelings, that is not true love. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. People think that the more exciting, the more euphoric, it's a match made in heaven and it's soulmate. It's not. The faster and more euphoric, the more potential for toxicity. The more urgent that they're trying to get it on with you or make you emotionally attached will lead to control, and it's an indicator that things will change. True love is slow, not fast. Set boundaries, make it clear. Make it known. What are you comfortable with and what are you not comfortable with? Show people how you want to be treated. And also notice how they set their boundaries. Notice how, if they're showing you how they want to be treated, that's a good sign. And don't be afraid to walk away when you see red flags. That's really important. It's okay to end the relationship, even if it's difficult, okay? Be patient enough to wait for the right person, and don't settle just because you're afraid. Afraid of not meeting the right one, afraid of being alone, afraid of being hurt. Don't be afraid to walk away, okay? And last but not least, after you've been through this whole training process, what are you taking away? What parts of these trainings have been most useful for you and most helpful for you? I would like you to list them here for your reference. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to contact me and ask. And if you want more, I will share what the next steps and what's coming up next for you in the next training. I will see you on the next training so we can talk about and I'll share what's next for you. Okay? Take care.